This is the movement. The movement.
I feel like you were a single parent, but I don't feel like you were a single parent. I feel like your daughter had both you guys. Okay.
Absolutely.
So she had both you guys. You come from somewhat a structured household growing up. Mm-hmm. Why not help children then that are like your daughter, who come from a good place, who are not necessarily the at risk? Why help the at-risk kids? Right. Because I feel like there are a billion programs to help at-risk kids. And I feel like the good kids don't get anything because they're good kids, but they need resources too. Mm-hmm. So why isn't your program geared to people more like your daughter who has ups and downs, but for the most part have a support team, don't have the same necessarily, obstacles that maybe an at-risk teen has. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Why at-risk teens?
So just to answer your question about the family household composition being structured. Okay, because I don't know where you came. I'm not negating that, but I think that life is subjective to interpretation. Yes. I mean, we had a lot of great teachings in our household. Okay. We come from a house of love.
Okay.
And
that's what I felt. Right. I didn't mean it was
I get that. Perfect. Yeah, so I don't think anybody's household is perfect, to be completely honest with you. That's just my own particular thing. However, what I will say is that we know that our house was grounded in love. Okay. And we knew that we had a connection to spirit. That was something that we learned through my grandmother's teaching of being Afrocentric and connecting us with Dr. Ben and, Dr. Smalls and Dr. Jeffries and being in lectures every Saturday, which at the time we didn't like, but we studied hieroglyphics. And then the next year, and we traveled around with seminars and she was involved. So, we didn't have a choice because we were following her queendomness. You know what I mean? And then my mom, who is visually impaired, my mother's legally blind. Okay. So she raised all of us with an impairment with her sight, and we watched her go through, trying to maneuver and go back to school after having 4 children and getting her bachelor's degree and, the trials and tribulations that she went through with pushing through because it wasn't easy, as a parent, as a mom. And my mom and my dad were married, but my mother was a single parent because my father was in prison. Okay. From 2 years old to 9 years old, I visited my father in Attica. Wow. He was incarcerated, and we shared what we call a trailer visit. Because back then,
I did tell you this was on the.
I know. Okay. And we were on trailer visits. Okay. And my dad would be, what a trailer visit meant was that your family had an opportunity to visit the father in a home-like setting while he's incarcerated. So you're not visiting him over the cell and at the table and all of that. You get to spend a weekend.
Oh, really?
You get to spend a weekend with your parent. Oh, okay. So for some people, that is an amazing thing when you're without a dad in your household at a really early age. Because my father was incarcerated, which most households had this same issue. Okay. So while I was connected and know who my father is and talk to him on the phone all the time, and my mother was committed, she trucked us back up and down in the snow to visit my father. And we spent the weekend with my dad in a trailer. While when we go out to play in the playground, we're surrounded by officers with shotguns on us. And that's how we spent our early years in our childhood from 2 years old to 9 years old.
Which are crucial years.
Okay, that's important. That's like the formative years. Right. You know what I mean? And then when my dad came home and he was released, we were in the household. He was in our household. It wasn't awkward because we were always in touch with him and we were waiting for him to come home. And you do, life with a parent who's incarcerated, you become adapted to a certain type of living. There's a lot of little components that come with that. And so when he came home, we was happy for him, for us, for my mom, for the family, for the support. But that doesn't necessarily mean a person comes home and they're rehabilitated in a way that they can acclimate to society in a like they don't just pick up where they left off at. You know what I mean? So we've been through a lot. And my father was always conscious. You know what I mean? I think that conscious people get involved in different things that may not be healthy either. I know the funny thing that people say is like, you know, if people are doing the same shit out here, just don't get caught. Right. He was one of those. He got caught. You know, and I hate to say it like that, but that's what I know. So I'm not going to pretend that life is something that it's not, because God allowed me to have these things that go on in my life so that I could be in position to share my story with other people, because I'm a success. Right. And you too can be a success if you come from humble beginnings like me. Pretty much. We all can. If you decide.
Right. And you decide early on that I'm not going to be a statistic.
And that's why I work with at-risk kids, because my father was incarcerated for most of my formative years. My mother was considered a single parent. We were raised by my grandmother and her in the household till my dad came home. I myself, although I went on to do all these miraculous things at an early age, was a teenage mom. I was raised in public housing. According to society, I was expecting according to society, I should have been. I'm not supposed to succeed.
How about the rest of your siblings? Where are you in the 4?
I'm not supposed to. I'm the second.
So are your
I have
other
2
siblings,
younger brothers.
Are your siblings as successful? Or are they successful?
Everybody
in their right?
is successful within their own right. Everybody does not mean because you have success that you don't get to go. You're not unscathed from life. Just because you're successful. You think Jay-Z and Puffy and all these people that most of the public look at and feel like it's successful that they are unscathed from having to deal with everyday life? Educate yourself about what our people, where we're truly from, and not what others have made us believe about ourselves that we've been hoodwinked about.
So did you teach that in your household with your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I did was live my life accordingly, because the kids follow everything that we do. And although we make mistakes and we're not 100% in the know of everything, I do the best that I can. Okay. And I used to not, just with different issues, to answer that question as far as it goes with access to my household, I didn't really know that in some instances my daughter was ready or prepared for all of life's lessons that I was going through. So in the beginning of our life, meaning her and I didn't share everything, my trials and tribulations. But as she got older, I felt like it was time, there was opportunity in my failures and success. You know, you can't just show these kids all the good things. They need to know that this is the way.
Around that time where you might have first might have had some real conversation.
Probably about 14.
Okay.
Right. And I'm not sure if, you know, there's no handbook on parenthood, so I'm not sure if that age was, you know, what people would deem as appropriate. But it don't really matter what other people say, because I'm running my show in my house.
She's 20 now.
So she's 20
Do you like her?
I love her.
Okay.
I love her and I like her.
Okay.
I love her and I like her.
Okay.
Right. So I would say that there was a time period of her growing up where first of all, let's just be clear, these kids' frontal lobe is not developed.
Okay.
So that helps to put everything back into perspective when they wilding out and they doing things that just don't make no goddamn sense to you. You gotta remember, they frontal lobe is not developed, and you gotta meet people sometimes where they at. So I keep that in mind so that I don't drive myself crazy with trying to understand why she's not getting the lessons that I'm trying to teach her, because the truth of the matter is you don't get to decide another person's journey.
Boom. Right. Even if they're our children, right?
However, she did, in my belief, appoint me to be her mom. Her and God co-created that before I even birthed her. I birthed her and I was used as the vessel in my belief. But she chose me to enter in this world to be the person that guide her. I mean, that's just how I spiritually feel. I feel like these things are pre-arranged.
So why you don't think, do you think, so why you didn't have any more?
I just felt like, first of all, my situation with me being a businesswoman didn't really allow myself to, I needed to pour time into the one that I do have. You know, I never even desired, I never thought about having a big family and all that type. Me, I just was more focused on being a parent and building myself up
Okay.
in my career.
Okay.
And, you know, because a little bit about myself was I was a teenage mom.
Okay.
So I had my daughter at 19, and I
Okay.
was in college when I was conceived her, and I still had things I wanted to do with my life, and I didn't want to become a stereotypical mom where, you know, when I remember being in college and my dad telling me when I told my parents I was pregnant, and my mother was much more receptive than my father was. Of course, you know, no father, your father's like, you don't know shit, and you gotta live your life, and you gotta, you know, and I was like, I want my baby, you know, that whole thing. Okay. And I remember being in college, and I lived in the dorm, and I had a lot of sweet mates.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't just like one in the hall, it was a sweet mate or whatever. And so they all were around and like, you know, what is going to happen or whatever. Right. And I remember really like crying and being on the floor because he was just like, I didn't raise you to be on Jerry Springer. You know, and he was like, and that didn't resonate well with me, but it did. Because I was like, I remember like being like on the floor with the wire hanging on the phone back then. You had the long coils and stuff. And this was like, you know, in the 90s.
And they from Islam.
Right.
He's Muslim.
Yeah, and I just was like, I ain't going to be on Jerry Springer, and I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to be, you know. And so part of my life was like proving that I'm not going to be, you know, a statistic because I decided to exercise my rights of my own body and procreate. Like that doesn't mean that I'm a failure. Okay. You know, so, and that's part of my teaching. You want to know what I talk about to my students when I'm talking to them.
Am I getting that right?
Well, absolutely. Okay. I'm in the process like everybody else. So when I say that is that we all have things that we need to be on top of our world for. Okay. You know, there's all of us have things that we're in the process of learning about ourselves and others. What I know is that I've had conversation with God about what my life's purpose is.
When was that? Oh, I mean, I know that happens
all
daily.
my life.
Okay.
There was not no one particular time. I think at every stage of my evolution, there's something else that lets me know it's time to catapult to the next level. Okay. So it's a process. It's like, you know, the education is a lifelong obligation to self.
So have you always been aware of that then?
I have.
Okay.
As much as I was on that level. Okay. So I can't be aware of something that I don't know.
Okay,
like Michelle Obama said when they asked her about her roles and responsibility in the White House, she's like, you don't know what you don't know.
Okay, right.
So whatever stage I'm at, what I know and what my consciousness will allow me to connect with at that time is what I pay attention to. Okay. My conversations with God is to ask God to open my mind in a way that I could be wise enough to know. Okay. And then allow me the opportunity to be able to do something about that because it taught
you that ability.
Everything we need to know, first of all, is within ourselves.
But not all of us are aware of that.
Yeah.
So, like, when
the school of hard knock life. Okay. Okay. Sometimes people just don't feel like making the same damn mistakes over and over again. Okay.
What was a mistake you didn't feel like making?
However, but just to answer that question for you is that I did grow up in a very conscious household. Okay. You know, my grandmother, God bless her soul, she's transitioned on and ascended, and she was definitely the epitome of woman. Okay. And she was a world traveler. She was Afrocentric, so she was identifiable to everybody in the community. She was the only very fair-skinned woman with hazel blue eyes walking around in kente cloths every single day.
Where y'all from? Harlem?
From Harlem. Well, she was from Harlem. Okay. I grew up in the Bronx, and I'm Harlem infused. Okay. I gotta be clear about that.
Yes, no, we
one
do.
time I got caught out there saying, yeah, Harlem, I'm from Harlem, and my Bronx friends was like, you I was like, all right, hold up, let me rethink this whole thing.
And rephrase it differently.
Yeah, let me rephrase this, because I definitely am Harlem infused. I spent a lot of my time in Harlem. My life, my businesses have all been in Harlem. Okay. I was born in Harlem. Okay. But I was raised in the Bronx. And because my grandmother was such a dynamic force and a major part of our family dynamic, she lived in Harlem on the east side, in El Barrio. So we was like, you know, that was my stomping ground. So for everything, Spanish? Yeah, my background. You know, I'm African American, and I've come from. I think we're all mixed with like a.
We had that conversation on the train coming down.
One thing, it's like, you know, but my grandmother was from Puerto Rico. Okay, and
that's how you got that good hair.
Oh no, my father would tell you we got Indian in our family.
You be swinging that hair around, non-weave. I'll be like,
good hair is subjective because sometimes straight don't mean good.
That ain't that the truth?
And what we learned is like embracing our kinkiness has been the
Mm-hmm.
best thing we've ever learned how to do. Although I do like to add color every now and then.
I hear that every now and then.
No, I'm clear that I'm not normal. And I don't try to fit in anybody else's box.
Okay.
I just do what I'm told to do by God's command. Everything goes back to the Creator. Everything, as far as I could remember.
Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
How old are you?
This the countdown to 40 for me.
Oh,
so August 12th I'll be 40.
You a Leo too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Leo
Okay.
and Lion.
Are you about to turn 40? Are you excited?
I'm very excited about
Why?
that. I am, because I feel like I'm wiser now.
I know, dude.
And I feel like all the things that I've gone through is now culminating into some beautiful wisdom of a wonderful woman who understands who she is and what my plight is and where I need to go in order to affect change in the world, and not just for myself and in my own household. And I feel like now that I'm turning 40, it's all coming together.
Okay.
So
I feel like
this is what I've been waiting for.
I know, and I feel like what I asked you, you already said. Because I want to say, well, okay, so you're in college and you're pregnant. So do you stay in college while you're pregnant?
You stay in college. And
while you're pregnant.
While you're pregnant,
okay,
you stay in college. Okay. While you're pregnant, you still work.
Okay, so
I was in college taking trips in the Bear Mountain because my class required that I complete. If I wanted to get the credit, I needed to complete the class, and I was in a mountain climbing class. And I was 7 months pregnant. And people of other cultures, let me add, they do shit while they're pregnant. So my teacher was like, unless you give me a doctor's letter saying that, you know, white people jump out of skydive and they be like 8 months pregnant. You know, he was like,
education. Did you go home, or when did you get on your own?
I was on my own since I was 17.
Okay, so
I moved out of the house at 17 because I graduated. I was always very intelligent.
Okay.
In terms of like academically and all of that stuff. So I knew that I wanted to go to college. I wanted to be independent because my parents was together and they were at home, so they was tag teaming. Okay. And they was like, you know, do the dishes. No phone calls after 11. Okay. And I was like, what kind of shit is this? Yeah, I was like, I graduated school. I worked 2 jobs until college starts and everything. Wow. I worked from 9 to 5, then 6 to 11, and I come in and y'all tell me no phone calls after 11? Yeah. This is crap. I need my own space.
So you move out.
So I
moved out. Independent.
I wasn't home when I was pregnant.
Okay, so you move out.
But they still got control of me.
Oh, of course, because they're still actively there, which is a blessing.
And my fact that I'm now giving birth and I'm going to be a mom to catapult me to my next stage. Okay. I don't use that to cripple me and make me feel like I can't, I won't, and I'm not. Or I'm not worthy or capable.
What does that mean? What does that mean that you use that to catapult?
I use that because now I'm giving birth to someone who I need to care for and teach.
Right.
So if I'm going to teach somebody, I need to be educated. Okay. I need to know about life. I need to learn. I need to be able to have enough information to give my child and to pass on to her. I need to be financially stable.
But you're 20.
I need to be... I'm 20, and I'm thinking about all of that because when you become a mom, the dichotomy, everything changes. Okay, so I'm with her dad because he and I were together. We weren't married, but he's always, and when I say always, I can't stress always, been an integral part of her life. So he was always, even when he and I separated, he was still supporting me and my goals. I was like a designer because when I moved on with my life and decided that I wanted to be in fashion at that time, I jumped out the window completely. I got a financial backer. I went to the magic show. I did my designs. I went there with my collection. I looked for someone who could invest in my line. And while I'm out there in Las Vegas looking for investments and getting brought in to travel across the world to produce my designs, I need somebody to sit for me and care for my child while I'm out there growing myself at the same time. And he oftentimes traveled with us. He traveled with us. His mom, his aunt at that time, her name was Cookie. She passed away. And she was like my daughter's grandmother. And she was there along with my mother and my parents. And collectively, whatever we needed, they supplied for us. And that was the first stage for me. And that's what I'm saying when I go back to saying that I utilize that. I don't have time to waste anymore. So So whatever I'm going to do with myself, I need to do it, and I need to be focused on it because now I got mouths to feed. And that's what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm. How many kids are in your organization?
In total, we serve 250 students.
Okay.
But we have those students that are directly enrolled, like that are our core kids, are about, I want to say 55 now.
Wow.
And then we pilot our program in several schools.
Okay.
So
like after school programs?
After school and what they call in-school support.
Okay.
So sometimes in-school support is like classes that schools would have that are enrichment classes.
Okay.
And so they would bring us in, and we contract with them to come in and provide services, entrepreneurial services, STEM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, math, all that stuff. And we'll do that during in-school time, after-school time, and on our own time.
Okay.
So sometimes we hold class, like we have a STEM technology class, a coding class that we are partnering with another organization, some folks who from MasterCard and Google, YouTube, who are working along with us to teach our kids about technology and coding and just giving them a beginner stages on how to create apps, because that's where the future is going in technology. And since you're going to be so good at surfing around on the internet, you might as well get paid for it.
Right.
And so a class like that we hold on Saturdays, and that's outside of school time and outside of after school time. So that is what we call our those students are directly enrolled to us.
So did your daughter ever feel like, because I know there's been times where my daughter's like, I think what you're doing is great, but on the weekends, can you just reserve that for me? Like, I don't want to go to another workshop. I don't want to go to another lecture. I don't want to go to another play. I don't want to go to, like, I don't mind, but I'm on my phone. You know what I'm saying? Did you at any point, just because she still had the support from the rest of the family, did your daughter, do you think, ever felt like she needed you more?
Absolutely. I think that we went through our time period where, she required a lot of attention from me. And at that time, thank God for having a good support, because sometimes you can't see those things on your own. So I had like my mom and her dad that was like, you need to do this and you need to do that. And then I would do the best that I could to adjust myself to fit that need. Because in the same token, I still have to care for my family and for myself and carry the weight on a macro level. Right. So I need to be able to still, because I'm doing all of this for her and for my family and for myself too, So I want to be able to have that balance. But early on, I don't think that I was as balanced as I am now. Obviously, I just was like, go on the move. Like, gotta go right now. I think so after a period of time, that became, obviously, these kids, when they don't get attention, they will make sure that they act out enough for you to give them attention.
Act out, but they'll do
something.
Out. Okay.
They acting out.
All right.
And that you don't have a choice but to pay attention.
Right.
It's by will or by force. And so I think enough of those situations brought us to a place where we know that, hey, she's operating better when I am on her and when I am, present.
Okay.
And just really try to just incorporate that as much as possible. I'm writing a book too.
Are you?
Yeah.
What's the book?
I haven't finished or strategically thinking this out, but the book is about parenthood.
Okay.
And it's about the that there's no handbook basically.
So you're not writing a handbook.
I'm talking about
excuse me,
some of the lessons that I learned being a parent and entrepreneur and not having a traditional sense of being household and being a household mom or stay-at-home mom and what comes with that, because it's a different life. There's no food on the table at 6:00, and we might be ordering takeout.
Who had dinner at 6:00?
Oh no, it wasn't a traditional life at all.
Right.
You with my game plan,
right? And I didn't, and that's the point. It's like you chose your game plan. You chose to be that mom
because I wasn't interested in discounting myself.
And
you shouldn't be either.
And the beautiful thing, I didn't. What I discount is the value in what choice I made.
That's discounting yourself,
right?
It's all related.
Right? No, but I didn't discount because I didn't feel what I was doing was less than. I never discounted what I was doing. What I believe in saying it out loud is what I discount now might be the value in what I was doing then. Because I enjoyed what I was doing. All those choices I made consciously. I could have been X, Y, Z, here, there, and that, and the third. I chose not to be. It was funny because now I don't have the excuse of I have kids at home. Because everybody's like, play
God,
that card.
What are you gonna say now? What are you gonna make up now?
I can't.
Right. So that brings us back to the whole original question: is why do you feel like you need to abbreviate yourself? And part of that reason, I believe, and I'm not in your head, I'm not in your life, I'm not. I don't know, but I know that what I've experienced in the past, that helped me to focus on my goal is to care less about what other people are doing. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to respect myself. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to do things that I want to have as a good, that kids are watching me, and I want to make sure that I make a good impression on the kids and all of that. But I know that, first of all, for me, the number one thing is when you're a person who's so-called popular, that's a joke. Because people are fake rooting for you, and when you're doing the things that you do and you start really, really making headway, that shit stops. And now those same people that want to see you go, they now your number one haters.
You believe that?
I know that to be fact. So, I'm not talking from a place of what I think. I'm telling you what I know. In some instances, because I've had a lot of support from people who genuinely wanted to see me grow. So I'm not going to say that applies for everybody. But I'm just saying that everybody who comes around is not your friend.
Right.
And everybody who's in your life don't mean they're going to be there forever. And you got to make the discernment who is who and what is what. That's your job.
Right.
And that requires you to what? Know yourself.
Right.
So stop playing. And I'm not joking.
I'm not laughing.
I'm dead serious.
No, I'm laughing.
What I'm asking you to do as your sister, who I know has great potential, who I know is set forth, who's been eager from the first day that I ever met you to be the best that you could be, to be somebody that you're proud of, to be somebody that your kids are proud of, to be somebody that your husband is proud of, or the man in your life, to do work that you feel like is going to be ever changing. All I know about you, literally, is that you're eager to do great work. So I'm saying to you, stop fucking playing. Catherine. Stop it.
Which is why I'm here.
Stop tricking yourself into believing that all these people are other things that you aspire to be. Until you find your voice and live in that space, nothing else should matter. And I mean that from my heart. Because what they do in their life, everything that glitters ain't gold. And that's a fact.
Yes, it is.
Stop playing. Step into your greatness and stop abbreviating yourself for other people. And when my life blossomed, it was because I decided that I was going to step into my own voice and not abbreviate myself for other people. And stop worrying about what this one was going to think if I did that. Or what that one... Allow yourself to make some mistakes and have to think about some of the shit you did. Whether it was people was favorable to it or not. Who cares? It's your life.
This is the movement.